What's the biggest plot twist you've ever experienced in a relationship? I met Claire during one of those gray chapters of life where everything felt stuck in slow motion. I had just moved to a new city for work, new apartment, new job, new people, but the loneliness was heavy. Most nights I'd sit by the window with takeout, scrolling aimlessly through my phone, convincing myself I was fine. Then Claire joined our office. She was magnetic in this quiet way, confident, witty, the type of person who looked genuinely interested when she listened. She wasn't flashy, but she had that rare warmth that made people orbit around her. We started talking during a team lunch, and by the end of the week, we were having coffee together almost every day. She asked about my family, my old town, what scared me, what I dreamed of doing. It felt refreshing. No small talk, just connection. She told me she'd just gotten out of a long, complicated relationship, that she was rediscovering herself. I didn't pry. She seemed sincere. 3 weeks later, she invited me over to her apartment. It was small but cozy. Plants on every windowsill, books stacked everywhere, half-finished art projects on the table. She said she painted when she couldn't sleep. I thought that was beautiful. Things escalated quickly. We were inseparable. Weekend getaways, movie marathons, cooking dinners together. She made even the simplest moments feel cinematic. One night, while lying on the couch, she looked at me and said, "I feel like I've known you forever." I believed her. 6 months in, I introduced her to my friends. They adored her. She fit into my life like she was always meant to be there. My mom even joked, "You finally found someone who keeps you smiling." Everything was perfect until the night that text came in. We were on the couch, mid-movie, when her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then quickly flipped it face down. I didn't think much of it until it buzzed again, then again. I caught the name before she grabbed the phone. Ethan. My stomach sank. She noticed my look and froze. I asked softly, "Who's Ethan?" For a few seconds, she said nothing. Then she whispered, "You deserve the truth." Turns out Ethan wasn't an ex. He was her husband. Not separated, not divorced, still her husband. She claimed the marriage had been over for a long time, that they were living separate lives. I sat there numb as she tried to explain how she didn't mean for this to happen, that she hadn't felt loved in years. I left that night without saying a word. I didn't yell, I didn't cry, I just left. The following week was hell. I couldn't focus at work. I replayed every moment in my head. The way she said she loved me, how she talked about our future, how she'd once told me, "You're my clean slate." I realized she didn't mean new start. She meant escape. Then one afternoon, I got a call from an unknown number. It was Ethan. He didn't sound angry. He just asked to meet. Against all logic, I said yes. We met at a quiet cafe. He looked tired, older than I expected. He started with, "You don't owe me anything. I just thought you should know the truth." He told me she'd done this before, fallen for people, promised them forever, then disappeared once the fantasy cracked. He wasn't bitter, just broken. "She doesn't mean to hurt people," he said. "She just can't stop chasing the next version of herself." It was the strangest conversation of my life. Two men, both fooled by the same woman, both trying to make sense of it. I left that cafe with this heavy clarity. Love isn't always about right and wrong. Sometimes it's just about timing and damage. That night, Claire called. Her voice was shaking. She said, "I messed up, but I love you. Can we just start over?" I told her quietly, "You love the idea of me, but I can't build a future on someone else's broken foundation." She cried. I hung up, and that was it. Months passed. I started therapy, focused on work, picked up running again. Slowly, life felt normal. Then, 3 years later, an email popped into my inbox from Ethan. It just said, "You were right to walk away." Attached was a picture, him smiling with a woman and a little girl. He looked genuinely happy. For the first time, I smiled too, because the pain that once consumed me now felt like a story from another lifetime, one that taught me how to see red flags, trust instincts, and understand that closure doesn't always come from an apology. Sometimes the biggest plot twist isn't heartbreak. It's realizing you're better off without the person you thought you couldn't live without.